Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the idea of authentic leadership. And look, let's just forget the fancy titles and the corner office for a minute, because true leadership, as we're about to see, is really an inner journey. So let's get started. This quote really gets right to the heart of it all, doesn't it? It's so easy to get caught up in checklists and tasks. But real leadership? Well, it's an energetic exchange. It's about the feeling you create, the emotional vibe you bring into a room. That's the stuff that really matters. You know, the world is changing, and our ideas about what makes a great leader have to change right along with it. We're starting to move away from those old, rigid, top-down ways of doing things and into something that feels a lot more personal, a lot more authentic. Think about it like this. The old era of leadership was kind of like being handed a map. You were given a set of instructions and you were told to stay inside the box. But this new era, it's all about discovering who you really are and inspiring people through your own journey of growth. It's about being a living, breathing role model, not just a rule follower. And that leads us to a really fundamental question you have to ask yourself. Is the way you lead, and really the way you live, a conscious choice? Is it based on your vision, or is it just a default reaction, something driven by old habits and programming you might not even be aware of? The whole journey to being authentic really kicks off with that one simple question. So, what's the single biggest thing that gets in the way on this inner journey? Well, let's meet the main culprit. It's that part of our own mind that keeps us stuck on autopilot in that default mode. And here it is. It's often called the monkey mind. It's that nonstop inner chatter. You know the one. It's the voice of ego, of fear, of doubt. And it was pretty much programmed into us a long, long time ago. And most of the time, it's running the whole show of our lives without us even realizing it's there. Do any of these sound familiar? Yeah, this is basically the monkey mind's greatest hits album. These thoughts, they feel incredibly real, right? But what they really are is just old protective habits, usually stuff we picked up in childhood to keep ourselves safe. But now, as leaders, they're the very things holding us back. And here's the crucial part, the thing that trips so many of us up. You can't fight this voice. Trying to argue with it or just push those feelings down, well, that only makes them louder. It makes them stronger. Okay, so if fighting it doesn't work, what's the alternative? How are we supposed to work with this part of our mind? Well, the answer is surprisingly simple, but it is absolutely profound. The key isn't to fight it, it's to see it. The most powerful tool you have for turning all that anxiety into clarity is just simple, conscious awareness. It's about turning on the lights in the room. And there's a practice for this, a simple 3-step process. First, just notice the thought when it comes up. Don't do anything, just notice it. Second, give it a name. Label that inner saboteur, call it the perfectionist or the inner critic. And third, and this is the absolute game changer, simply observe it, but with compassion, not judgment. Just see it for what it is, a scared part of you that's just trying to help in its own weird way. You see, emotion is just energy in motion. And when you can watch it without getting all tangled up in its story, you actually allow that energy to flow through you and release itself. Suddenly, the anxiety loses its power, that negative feeling starts to dissolve, and that's where real transformation begins. Okay, now let's talk about how this all builds, because this quiet internal practice has a massive external impact. This is where all that inner work starts to transform into the kind of leadership you can actually see and feel. We usually think of charisma as some kind of technique, right? Like how to stand or how to talk to command a room. But this way of thinking sees it completely differently. True charisma is the natural byproduct of your own inner growth. It's the energy of your authentic self just shining through, and you absolutely cannot fake that. This all leads to a state called happy high status. There's this great story about George Clooney at a party where someone mistakes him for a waiter. Instead of getting offended, he just smiles and graciously gets the person a drink. Why? Because his sense of self-worth is so solid, it's so internal, that he doesn't need anyone else's approval to feel good about himself. Now that is real power. And here's the best part. This journey isn't just about you. The real magic of becoming an authentic leader is the effect you have on everyone else. Your inner work creates this incredible ripple effect. This is exactly why leaders have to be role models for personal growth. When you do the hard work to move past your own fears, to face your own limitations, you're not just helping yourself. You are literally creating a space where it feels safe for other people to do the same. You start to lead by being, not just by telling. There's this powerful quote from Marianne Williamson that says it all. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Just think about that. Freeing yourself is actually an act of service to your team. Your calm, your authenticity, it gives everyone around you this unspoken permission to step into their own power too. So ultimately, this whole journey is about one thing: uncovering what is uniquely you. Trying to copy some other leader's style, no matter how successful they are, is always going to feel a little bit hollow, a little fake. The most powerful, most effective leader you can possibly be is the most authentic version of yourself. Your unique energy, your way of seeing things, your fingerprint, that is exactly what the world is missing. And the only way to really offer that gift is to go on this inner journey of self-discovery. So the real question is, what unique legacy will you choose to leave?